Okay, so today I'm going to go through the Piecewise Function Lab with you to make sure that you're comfortable on finding the formula from a graph. And I have this first graph here. As you can see, it's three pieces. I have a parabola, this piece, I have a line here and a line here. So I'm going to set up down here what this graph is going to look like when we're done our formula. So we have this nice formula of f of x equals, and it's got three pieces, so I'm going to kind of set it up. So I've got three formulas coming here. And then I have a semicolon because it's going to have where the domain restrictions are. So let's do the domain restrictions first. So this first piece goes from here all the way to 2, and it includes 2. So that one piece is going to be x is going to be less than or equal to 2. The middle piece goes from 2 to 5 because it's right in here. And see how they're both open circles? So that means x is between 2 and 5, but it's not included because 2 is in that left piece. This right piece right here, I kind of broke it off a little bit, is starting at 5, and it's a closed circle. So this is going to be x is greater than or equal to 5. So lots of times I like to get that part done, so I know all the domain restrictions of those pieces of the function. Now I'm going to look at it. I'm going to do the middle part first and say, oh, this is the line y equals -2. So I have a y here, y equals -2. So that is the formula for that middle piece. The left piece, or the top part here, is a part of a parabola, and the parabola is x squared, and it's been shifted down 3. So if you remember all your transformations, that would be x squared minus 3. There's really no algebra with that. That's just some of your transformation rules, okay? And the last piece is linear, right here. So I am going to stack and rack a couple points. So I have the point 5,2 is one of the points I'm going to pick. And then I've got 6,3, and I'm going to come up with a formula. So I said y equals b plus mx. And my slope is going to be 3 minus 2. I'm going bottom up. So bottom up, 6 minus 5. So my slope is 1 over 1, or 1. So I have y equals b plus 1x, or we'll just say x. Now I'm going to plug in one of the points. I'll pick the point 5,2. It doesn't really matter. So on the y, I put a 2. And the x, I put a 5, subtract 5. In each spot, I have b equals -3. And if you were to follow this through, it looks like it would cross down here at -3. Okay? So now I know my formula is going to be y, whoops, I don't need to know y. I just told you didn't have to do that, is -3 plus x. Because that's what this would be, y equals -3 plus 1x. And you don't really need to show that. So there is the formula for that piecewise function. Let's try the next one. This one doesn't have any parabolas in it. It's just 3 lines. So let's set up what this is going to look like, and then we'll fill in all the blanks. So I have f of x equals my big bracket. Then I have my 3 pieces, set it all up, my semicolon for my domain restrictions, and then the line there so I can figure that out as well. So let's kind of look at what's going on here. I see that it breaks at 2 and at 5. So at 2, I can see this left piece, 2 is not in there. So I can say this left piece is x is less than 2, and it's not included. This middle piece has a closed circle here, an open circle, so it goes from 2 all the way to 5, but it doesn't include 5. So my x is between 2, and notice it's equal to, there's my line, and it goes up to 5, but doesn't include 5. And again, I want you to note 2 is only in this piece. It's not in the top piece. And then 5 is this right piece, or the bottom here, x is greater than or equal to 5. So there's my domain restrictions. Now we're going to go through and put in the actual formulas. And if you'll see in the formulas, this right here is y equals 3. So I can say y equals 3 is my middle piece. Really no algebra with that. Now I've got to go through and do the formula. So I'm going to stack and rack a couple points here. So I'm going to pick the point 2, 4, even though 2, 4 is not really on that line, but it goes up to that. So you can use that to find the line. And I see the 0.05. Okay. Well, I already know y equals 5. And then I've got a slope going on here. So I've just got to figure out the slope because it crosses at the y-axis at 5. That can go in the B spot. So my slope is going to be 5 minus 4. I'm going bottom up. 0 minus 2. So I have 1 over negative 2. So my line is y equals 5 minus a half x. So that's going to go here, which makes me happy. The slope should be negative because that's the negative direction. Now I'm going to go over here and do the equation of this line. I'm going to stack and rack the 0.52. And the next point is going to be 7, 0, because I like zeros. They make it nice when you're doing your algebra. So I'm going to actually, this one, I don't know my y-intercept, so I got y equals b plus mx. I don't know either one. So let's do our slope first. So I have 2 minus 0 over 5 minus 7. So that's 2 over negative 2, or negative 1. So I have y equals b minus 1x, if you will, or you could just say minus x. Then I'm going to plug in the 0.70 because I love zeros. So b minus 1 times 7. So that's a negative 7. So if I add 7 to both sides, b would be 7. So my equation is y equals 7 minus x. And I'll come here and put 7 minus x. And that is how you find the formula of that piecewise function. Now, the last thing I asked you to do was number 3, was to just stop right here and evaluate this. So I have this nice function here. And basically, you could graph this and find the points, but basically they want to know, do you know which piece to use? So they want us to find f of 3. So I have to go through and look at each piece and say, well, 3 is not in this piece because this is only good when x is less than 1. 3 is really not in this piece either because it's between 1 and 3 but doesn't include it. So I have to use this bottom piece to find f of 3. So I do 5 minus a half times 3, or 5 minus 3 halves. Okay, whoops, minus 3 halves. And so when I put that in there, 5 minus 3 halves is going to be, well, this would be right here, 10 halves minus 3 halves, so it's going to be 7 halves. So really the point 3, 7 halves is on my graph, or 3.5 if you will. Okay, so there's A. The B part says find f of 1, so I have to go through and find out where 1 is. Well, 1 is not in this piece, it's in this piece, and this piece is easy because it says whatever's between 1 and not including 3 but up to 3, the y is 2, so there's no work with that. That's just the point 1, 2. Then they want me to find f of negative 10, and negative 10 only fits in this top piece, so I'm going to plug it in. 2 times the absolute value of negative 10 plus 1, which is negative 2 times the absolute value of negative 9, which is the same as saying negative 2 times 9, or negative 18. So this is negative 18 is my answer, and that's the negative 10, negative 18. Now I know you can graph this and check these points because all these points should be on the graph, but I always want to see the algebra if there's any algebra to do. So that is the end of this video, is talking about the lab.